In the United States, a somber remembrance marking the 15th anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing, beginning with moments of complete quiet. In fact, despite the bagpipes, there were 168 seconds of silence, one for each man, woman, and child. These moments of solitude in stark contrast to the chaos and devastation unleashed 15 years ago when Timothy McVeigh detonated a truck packed with 5,000 pounds of explosives below the Murrah Federal Building. Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano reminded the nation we need to remain vigilant.
In the 15 years since this attack, the reality of terrorism has come home to us again, and our adversaries continue to look for ways to exploit our openness and to take innocent lives.
As families remembered their loved ones in and around the nation's capital, gun rights advocates have been demonstrating. In Alexandria, Virginia, they're packing heat, celebrating their Second Amendment rights in a national park. And near the Washington Monument, another rally, this one without firearms because it's illegal in Washington, D.C. Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano joins me now from Oklahoma City. Secretary, it's good to see you on this somber occasion. I know you were involved in the investigation into the Murrah building attack as U.S. Attorney in Arizona. Are you seeing similarities between the culture that's erupting across our nation now and then?
Well, I think throughout our nation's history, we've gone through periods where there's been anger, where there's been a lot of rhetoric, overheated rhetoric, that sort of thing, and we see some of that now. We certainly saw some in the early 1990s. And we don't, we don't perhaps like it or whatever, but it is rhetoric. It's when it really crosses the line into plotting and then carrying out the kind of terrorist act that McVeigh did that law enforcement needs to be involved.
But about a year ago, you took a lot of heat for warning about vulnerable veterans, for instance, returning from war and being inducted, being wooed into right-wing extremism. Again, nearly a year ago, has our nation made inroads combating that?
Well, we actually view veterans as part of the solution. We want their expertise. We want their dedicated service to our country. They've already demonstrated. We want them to come work for the Department of Homeland Security in a civilian capacity. So we're actively recruiting veterans. So we are way beyond that early report and into really how do we work with veterans and use their dedication to the country in a positive way.
The Southern Poverty Law Center's research shows a massive spike in the number of new militias and so-called patriot groups. The Pew Research Center just had out with a new survey that shows 78% of those who responded to the survey don't trust big government. I mean, 78%, Secretary Napolitano, that is not fringe emotion. That is mainstream, widespread feelings. Does it surprise you? Does it concern you?
Well, there's a big difference between the Pew Research survey and, armed militias planning to blow up federal buildings, planning to kill innocent men, women, and children. And it is that line, there's a line there that you cannot cross, that we understand, or everyone understands, that in our society one of our key values is freedom of expression, freedom of belief, and the like. What is not acceptable is when that crosses over into actual planning for and carrying out acts of violence and acts of terrorism. And anyone who's ever walked through the museum here in Oklahoma City would realize the difference between those two things.
And so how do you characterize, especially this Virginia rally, where demonstrators are showing up, packing heat, and it's not necessarily a Second Amendment rally, it's a take back our Constitution, take back our government rally. One of the organizers furious with the president's policies. Is that to you crossing a line?
No, not if it's legal to carry weapons in the fashion in which they're being carried, and not if what is being done is talking about how furious people are. Again, I think where security is focused is our focus is the overall terrorism threat, be it internationally derived or be it domestic, and it can come in myriad different ways. The FBI has another and very important role here as well, and so but we're all very cognizant of the difference between anger and anger expressed and plotting criminal activity or terrorist acts like what we saw in Oklahoma City.
Well, given your focus then on the war on terror, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the new developments today. 2 leaders of al-Qaeda in Iraq have been killed in this joint U.S.-Iraqi operation. The big head honcho there, Abu Ayyub al-Masri. What's your response, and how will that change the United States war on terror?
I've been in Oklahoma City all day today in commemoration, so I haven't been able to confirm that. So let me not comment till I confirm.
Secretary Janet Napolitano, I appreciate your time today. And again, as you were there with those families in Oklahoma City, I know that it's a somber occasion. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.